Bro, I'm asleep. Niggas talking about I'm getting dissed by Steve Lacy. Stick to the beats? What the fuck does nigga know about me? I didn't know it was beef. Apparently it's Steve Lacy Kane, nigga. Fuck Steve Lacy.
What's going on, y'all? Today is Steve Lacy Appreciation Day on the channel. I've been meaning to start this series for a minute now. The channel name is Flowers because it was made to give artists that I appreciate their flowers. And I think this is as good of a place to start as any, so. This past month, I dove back into the internet's catalog after someone told me that there's going to be a new album coming. Supposedly it's going to drop this year. We'll see. I hadn't heard a lot of these songs in years. My favorite album of theirs, Ego Death, is almost 10 years old. Lord. I ended up going through their solo albums as well. Matt Martian's released Matt's Missing earlier this year, and that was great. The main vocalist, Sid, hasn't released an album since 2022's Broken Hearts Club, but that wasn't bad either. And on her first album, Finn, that came out in 2017, it had the banger Dollar Bills on it, which featured the aforementioned Steve Lacy.
Talking about you love me, I don't know you, girl, so stop it. My shawty at the crib cause she didn't wanna come.
And that brought me back here. This EP, bruh. Great songs, short and sweet. And this was the album that he produced in GarageBand on an iPhone at like 18.
I'll show you a little bit of the process.
Lacy records all of his music on his phone. He's used lots of apps before, but GarageBand is his favorite.
Shout out to all the bedroom producers and artists. Y'all don't get enough love. You know, maybe one day I'll go through all of my beats. They're awful. I know they're awful, especially my old ones. But I would do that for y'all. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Anyways, after that, I didn't listen to a whole lot of Steve. I just noticed I always say his whole name. I'll be forgetting this nigga named Steve. I didn't listen to him for a minute until the sickness that had everyone locked up for 2 weeks persuaded me to check out Apollo 21 while my wife was playing Animal Crossing.
When you lay me down.
I don't really count Lo-Fi's as an album because it's really just a bunch of SoundCloud re-releases and leaks and unfinished demos and stuff, although it does have the beautiful track In Front of Me. And then we have his latest album, Gemini Rights. Great body of work with a single that unfortunately overshadowed the rest of the project. This song was so big that even if you didn't know it was Steve Lacy at the time, I'm sure you've heard this song at some point during the past 2 years. TikTok got a hold of this song and ran with it. And this wasn't even the first time that a song of his went viral. Dark Red was pretty popular on the platform as well, but Bad Habit took it to a completely different level. Some people see that as a good thing. I'm one of the people that doesn't see virality as a good thing because I believe it's quite the double-edged sword. I mean, it certainly boosted his popularity, but at the same time, when you go viral like that, it's hard to control narratives. Things get away from you very quickly. Obviously, this is just an observation. I am not famous. I'm sure you've seen the videos. TikTok ruined Steve Lacy, the downfall of Steve Lacy, stuff like that. And hey, as a fellow YouTuber, I get it. Do your thing. Nobody's mad. I'm just here to squash the theory that a large amount of his fan base are people who only know Bad Habit, and two, that people who come from TikTok are somehow inherently less in tune with the music. I just think people process things differently, especially through generations. Steve himself goes into detail about it on this Variety interview. I had to accept that this is how these kids are. I was pissed at first. They want so much. Can you do this? Can you do that? I'm gonna throw this up here for you. I love you. But I don't see them being wrong for it anymore. As much as it annoys me sometimes, they're just young. A lot of these kids, it's their first concert, so they don't even know what concert etiquette is. I'm starting to love them, and I couldn't imagine my shows without them. And they don't care how uncool they look, and I appreciate that. Did we all hear that, everybody? All of us fans, no matter where we came from, it's cool. You can be a fan that came from TikTok. You can be a fan that was from 2017. It really doesn't matter. And yes, there's going to be those groups of people who are on the fringe, on the outside. There is at every fan base. On one side, you have the people who are upset that their favorite artist is getting more popular because they wanted to be a part of this exclusive club. And then on the other hand, you have the so-and-so fell off. Their downfall needs to be studied crowd. The second your numbers go back to normal, as soon as they even out, these people assume that you fell off. And to them, the reason that you fell off is because you're just trash. And I don't know, maybe that's a good thing because you cut both of those groups off. And after that, you're just left with people who are actually your fans. And with that, it brings a certain freedom. I feel free. All the other shit happened. I went #1. I got the Grammy. I played at the Grammys. Beyonce stood up. What more could I ask for? He's also not trying to conjure another Bad Habit for album 3. I'm making something completely new. It's all he'll say. It's still me, but it's way different. Steve Lacy strikes me as an artist that really wants to create in the truest sense of the word, and that's pretty rare nowadays. There's a lot of artists that would be perfectly happy with getting into the algorithm and writing it as long as they can, and you can do that. And your music will be pushed to a bunch of people who will mindlessly listen to your songs. But you will quickly find out those monthly listeners aren't even that. They're not listening to your music. They may be hearing it at the time, but they're not listening. And they're definitely not fans. And eventually, when the algorithm drops your music for the next big thing, you're left with no one because you didn't genuinely connect with people. You're chasing that algorithm that no one can predict when you should have been chasing that connection. That's what every true artist wants. They want that connection. Everyone wants to make something and have someone else fuck with it as much as you do. That is the best feeling. It can be a chef and you say, man, I made the fuck out this cake. Someone eats the cake and they love it. You make a song and you love the song. You want someone else to love it. And I do. If you are one of those people, I would appreciate if you dropped a Steve Lacy related story down in the comments, the first time you heard it, anything like that. If you haven't heard Steve Lacy before and you happen to check it out after this video, you can always come back, let us know what you think. I appreciate the man. To me, he's a large reminder that everyone don't want to be famous like that. And usually those people are the more talented ones. I appreciate you all stopping by. There should be a video going up directly after this one. Come through for the double feature. If you like Steve Lacy, make sure you let him know. If you like it here, if you feel like, hey man, that was a pretty entertaining video, I wonder what else this guy has. Check out a couple of the videos. I highly recommend sticking around because if you've been here this long, obviously you feel like you belong here in some capacity. And I agree, you do belong here with the rest of us. Y'all be safe.